Hello, hello. It is Elle, and I am reading today about Jonathan Hoang. He is 21 years old, has the capacity, though, of every 8 or 9 year old. He's autistic, and um, he does go outside by himself sometimes, and that's what happened. He went outside by himself. He takes a daily walk, and usually he knows how to get home. This time he went out at a different time. He asked his dad if he could stay home from school the next day, and it sounds like at some point he disappeared with his iPad, but not with a lot of the other stuff that he normally keeps and or normally has. He has like a jacket that I guess he normally takes with him. He didn't have his shoes, but his mom's shoes were missing. So there were just some real oddities about him leaving, and then him leaving for any length of time is just not normal. Now this happened, I think, a couple months ago, maybe 3 months now. So he's been gone a while. Um, the one promising thing is that he was seen in June 23rd, on a camera. They think it was him anyway. We're going to read about that and ask and find out if that really was him. And so the family thinks he's out wandering around. He doesn't know his address. They think he got lost and just hasn't been able to find his way home. Now he lives in Arlington. The camera situation was in Kirkland, I think. Yeah. And I'm not sure how far away those two are, but I'm guessing it's within walking distance, or if you're gone for a while, you could have walked a ways. Anyhow, we're going to get started with this. We're going to see what we can do with Jonathan, and we're going to ask for a lot of hints on where he is. We will ask his current physical state. I am just going to read this as any missing person case, so I am going to read about foul play, kidnapped, you know, a natural issue going on, an accident, all those things that can happen. All right, so let me think about him. And Janelle, thank you for bringing this case, and you're the one who asked for me to read about it, so I appreciate that. So let's see what we get about Jonathan. Okay, so we're first going to ask, is this a foul play case? Some people are theorizing that being that he was on his iPad, there was one of those people that, fortunately takes care or takes advantage of kids. Foul play, I got the magician card. So the magician is somebody that makes people disappear, right? I mean, he is. So potentially there really could be foul play in the situation because the magician is showing up right away, and that is somebody who makes people disappear. We have had that card for people who have made people disappear before. So let's ask about him leaving on his own without someone else being involved. Jonathan leaving on his own without someone else being involved. It seems highly unlikely, being that autistic people like to follow their own kind of traditions and patterns. Left on his own without someone else. This is someone who is looking at things in a, I want to say growth mindset comes into my mind, which I know sounds really weird for him. Looking to get something more than he had, looking to gain something. So, as a card of leaving on your own, it is possible. It is possible that he left on his own, but there's this whole sort of, I'm going to get something because of this. Maybe finances, because that is a financial card. Now, do I think he went out to go to work and left? No. But there is some sort of, if I do this thing, I might get something from it, which could have been the turning point for him, even going in the wrong direction. Let's ask, though, if he left with somebody else. So Jonathan leaving with somebody else. I don't know if there's a Burger King around there. Jonathan leaving with somebody else. I don't know why I got Burger King flashing in my head. Like maybe he went to Burger King. I know that sounds weird, but that just flashed in my head, or was trying to go anyway. This is the Queen of Wands. So this is, for a card of leaving with somebody else, it's not really a card that would say anything weird to me at all. It's the Queen of Wands is kind of in charge of her own actions. If anything, she's an active card and she's very much in charge, right? Queen's in charge and the wand stands for action. So it does make me feel at this point that Jonathan was in charge of his own actions. I don't feel like someone else took him per se, like came up and grabbed him, kidnapped him. But one of our coming up cards is kidnapped. So was there an accident with Jonathan? Was there an accident? Was there an accident? He didn't bring his wallet, as far as I know. So even though I'm seeing Burger King and stuff in my head, but maybe he didn't think that way. I don't know. An accident is a Knight of Wands, and that again, so Knight of Wands is a guy makes impulsive decisions quickly. You could see he's like, I'm taking action, I'm doing it fast, and I'm doing it now. I feel like, and we got that Queen of Wands right in front of this. So I feel like that was a situation with Jonathan. He just kind of did something impulsively, which I know doesn't usually go with people with autism. But in this situation, something happened that was very impulsive and something, for some reason, he thought he could gain something by doing this thing. All right. We are going to ask if he was kidnapped. So just give me a moment to focus on that, on Jonathan and kidnapped. Okay. So let's see if he was kidnapped. I really don't think he was kidnapped. This is again the Page of Wands. So what do we have one after the other? We've got this guy who I know it's a coin card, a pentacle, but he does have a wand in his hand, or like a wand. It's a staff. You could say that looks very much like a wand. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Then we have the Knight of Wands. Then we have the Page of Wands. What do wands stand for? Actions. And all these people, the queen, the knight, and the page, are all in charge of their own actions. All court cards, as a matter of fact. And court cards are said to stand for people. I really feel what it's telling us is that Jonathan was in charge of his own actions. And he, for whatever reason, did this, thinking he was going to go gain something at one point if he went in this direction and not that one. That's what I have. Okay, we will ask about natural issues. Natural issues. Could this have been natural issues that happened to Jonathan? You know, sometimes things happen naturally in your body that affect you. This is the Nine of Cups. This is a person getting their wish. So again, I just feel like for whatever reason, he thought there was something to gain from going off in this other direction, different than what he usually did. I know, doesn't make a lot of sense, but that is exactly how he could have gotten lost. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. All right, so we're just going to ask what happened, and hopefully we get a little bit more clarity on this kid. What happened with Jonathan? What happened here? I guess the cards have kind of given us some ideas on what happened. It does look like he changed his own direction and he was the master of his own fate in this. What happened? Well, here we have a King of Pentacles. Again, we got the Pentacles and the Wands now. The King of Pentacles. I know. Weirdly, Burger King is coming back in my mind. Ah! Did Jonathan like Burger King? I don't know why I've got this Burger King theme, and here we have the King, and I can hear Burger King in my mind. I don't know, for whatever reason that day, Jonathan thought, I'm going to go get Burger King on my own. I know it sounds kind of far-fetched, but there is this thing. I don't know. You tell me, you who know him, did he like Burger King? Because I tell you what, that was what I saw in my head. All right, where is Jonathan? Where is he? Today, right now, at this moment, where is Jonathan? Where is he? I just feel like I should take that card too. Where is Jonathan at this moment? All right, so this is somebody who's weary, nervous, on guard, um, trying to protect himself, scared, trying to protect his things, what he has. I guess that would make sense for somebody who's wandering around. We are going to ask his, we're going to ask if that video is him. Now, after the video, they did, is my understanding, ground searches, extensive, and they have done ground searches. They've had the helicopters out, dogs, nothing's found this kid. So let's ask about that video in Kirkland. Was that Jonathan on the video? The person's doing some really interesting, like weird, sort of odd movements with his arms. If you watch that video, it's not movements that like average people make. And his family said when they watched it, those are his mannerisms. So is that video Jonathan? Is that video Jonathan? Hmm. This is an interesting card to stand for that because it's like somebody being given something and then they're like, I don't want it. Don't want it. They're saying no, because I want that video to be him. I don't want it to be a card saying no. But unfortunately, the card is saying no. The card is saying no. I mean, it just is. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but that's what it's saying. All right. So then where is Jonathan? If that's not him, we're going to ask for a clue to know where to go. A clue to know where to go. Clue to know where to go with Jonathan. This is the Knight of Cups, and this is a friendly card. And this, I don't know why, Burger King keeps coming into my mind. Is there a Burger King around there? If there's a Burger King around there, I would go look at Burger King. I don't know why. Look outside, look by the dumpster, look behind Burger King, around Burger. I don't know why Burger King keeps coming in. Came into my mind again when I saw this guy. This is the Knight of Cups. You can see what this card has in it. When I asked for a clue to know where to go, this card is a friendly card. It's giving you a cup. It's giving you an offer. It's help. So are there places that help people around there? Are there places that would give him a handout potentially? Oh, I'm going to have to get my battery on. I'm going to end this video and start again. And we'll have to piece them all together. Actually, I'll do a part 2. Sorry, people. My laptop is dying. And my thing is, my charger's downstairs. Okay, so this is part 2 of Jonathan Hoang. And we're going to pick up with we had a clue to know where to go. We're going to go with the closest known landmark of where he may be. So Jonathan Hoang, closest known landmark of where he may be. Closest known landmark. This may not mean anything to me because I don't know that area, but some of you may know that area and might know something in this card spark some sort of something in you that tells where this would be. This is the Fool card. This is somebody going out on their own. The Fool's got his bag packed and he's off. Doesn't know. It really is a great depiction of what happened. Doesn't know the trouble he's getting into or that he's opening up for himself because he is just strolling along. But there's a cliff right there that he's about to fall off, unfortunately. And he's not even watching his step, right? So when I have the closest known landmark, that's the card I get. You can see the symbology in it. Again, I don't know the area to even match that symbology up with somebody. But I think the symbology of the card as a whole is a good representation of what happened here. All right. So with that said, we're going to go to a clue for the searchers, for people who are looking for him. Clue for the searchers of Jonathan. Clue for the searchers. Clue for searchers to find him. Clue for searchers to find him. Seeing a pine tree. And then here we have the Page of Cups. We did have the Knight of Cups earlier as a clue to know where to go. Now we have the Page of Cups as clue for searchers. These two are cards that both mean water, and this one is somebody who doesn't communicate very well. This one is someone who is, people are helping that person potentially, offering them things. This is someone, I would say both of these are close to water, so that might be a hint, but I don't really feel water with him as a feeling. It feels like maybe more of well, I'm going to let you look at that card. I'll describe the card. You see it. This person is very theatrical. They're dressed in a costume. They're talking to a fish in a cup. So what can that mean? Not good communication, being silly, being young. He can't communicate well. So we know this card very well might be a good representation of him. Paige is usually a good-hearted person, kind, but also not realistic, really, dreamy. So all of those things come into effect when you have this clue for searchers. All of that makes up where Jonathan may be. And this also can be somebody in theater or things like that. The person's on stage. They're pretending. So there's not that I say he's out there pretending to be someone else or anything like that, but there's this aspect of childish, for lack of a better word, very childish feeling of all this. Which he is. Let's face it, he's 8 or 9, but he's very 8 or 9 in heart. 21, but 8 or 9 in the way he behaves. We're going to ask about his current physical state. I know a lot of people are asking, like, what happened to him. Current physical state literally is a card asking if he is alive or passed. Some people don't like to hear that, so if you're one of those people, then you can skip this part. Current physical state of Jonathan Hoang is we'll pull a card for being alive, walking around in a body. And when I looked at his picture, I did not get the past feeling. Alive, walking around in a body. Current physical state for alive, walking around in a body, that's somebody like sneaking around. Or is he past? So past in spirit form. And usually the cards are pretty bang on this one. I like when they say, sometimes you'd like them to be wrong, I guess is what I'll say. Neither of these are showing me like that would be past. I feel like he is sneaking around weirdly. If this is an odd card to get for alive, there's a lot of it's sneaking and weapons, and sometimes it does stand for a kidnapping card, although up there we did not show that he was kidnapped. I'm going to ask for clarification on that card of why I got that card. So tell me about this whole 7 of Swords card that came through for Jonathan. This is like going off, and the other one was sneaking away. It's kind of a card of like sneaking away from home. And then this is going off into the distance. And weirdly, that's kind of the feeling I've got for them the whole thing. Walking away and thinking there's something better. I know it's really strange, but for whatever reason, this kid left thinking there was something better that he was going to go get, going to go find. That's really strange, but if he was 8 or 9 years old, didn't you kind of get that feeling when you were 8 or 9 years old? I remember me and my girlfriend ran away for a day. We went and hid. It was the middle of winter. We got cold and we went home. Nobody even noticed we were gone. We were very mad. Um, and we were probably about that age, maybe a little older. Current physical state. So I don't see the Seven of Swords isn't a great card because sometimes that can be like a danger card, like things could happen. But it feels like he might be alive too. So when I ask, is he in spirit? We get the Six of Wands, which is kind of a victory card. It's not a card that really shows me that the person's in spirit per se. Um, I can't say definitively one way or the other with these cards, though. So let's ask how Jonathan can be found. Either way, he's out there and he needs to be found. How can Jonathan be found? How can Jonathan be found? Why am I getting Burger King again? Go to Burger King. I don't know what this Burger King is, but this again reminded me of Burger King. He's got the freaking little crown car, the crown Burger King, remember? And he's got those little pentacles, which we saw early on in the reading that he, for whatever reason, thought he was going to go somewhere and get something. Doesn't this guy even remind you of Burger King? Go to Burger King. I don't know why this kid may be at Burger King or around Burger King. I would go to every Burger King within walking distance and pass that kid's picture around and ask if they've seen him and look for him. He's in the city, is what I feel, by a Burger King. It's come through too many times for me to ignore it. I'd go to Burger King. I'd like get in my car right now and I'd drive to the nearest Burger King and then the next one, the next one, the next one. And I would ask the people in Burger King or around Burger King, especially if they've seen somebody in their dumpster at night. There's something about Burger King. All right, let's ask if he's going to be found. Is Jonathan going to be found? Will Jonathan be found? I got two cards for that. Yeah, yeah, I think somebody's feeding him. He's going somewhere, trying to get food. That very well could be Burger King. We saw the whole water thing before, and there is water in this one, so it does make me think that he go by water because remember we had that Knight of Cups that we were like, well, there's water, and the Page of Cups, well, there's water. This is a water theme too. I don't know. Is there like some place where they give out food by water? This is like one of those fair places giving handouts. Something like that. I'm sure his family sit all the homeless shelters and things like that, but I would go by water, bridges, things like that. And somewhere where they're feeding maybe the homeless. Um, looks like he's gonna be found. Let me ask how long until he's found. Soon, far away. What are we looking at here? Soon, far away. Um, okay, this one worries me just a little bit because this card literally says go look in the water. So that makes me a little nervous, little nervous because that card says go look in the water. Is there water by a Burger King and you could look around the water? Makes me a little nervous. I'm gonna be honest. Card makes me a little nervous, that one. Okay, and then for a card for when like how long though? That's like you've set everything out and you're just waiting for your ships to come in, the Three of Wands. You're waiting for what you've done to be productive. So let's hope it's just a card representing that all these flyers and everything they've done is going to pay off. Let's look at it in that way. Anything else we should know? Anything else we should know about this situation? Anything else we should know? See again, we've got a card really reflecting that card we just had, the Two of Wands. Again, it's looking like go look out further. It's looking into the water, so that makes me a little nervous again. We've got two cards now reiterating like kind of in that water or across the water. Well, he's in Washington, right? I know there's a lot of water in Washington, around Washington. Makes me a little nervous about that. Did he travel? Did he go by water? Did he think? Yeah, I don't know. Makes me a little nervous. That whole water popping up twice now. Um, Let me just ask, is there something with water that we should be aware of with Jonathan that we should be concerned of? Let me just ask, should we look in the water? Should we look in the water with Jonathan? Is that where we should be looking? I'll say in or around water. Should we be looking in the water with Jonathan? Well, this is a person very much like the page kind of is giving me these vibes. And he's got water behind him, you see. Was there a place he could have walked to around his house that was like a boardwalk or something like that that had water near there? I don't know what Arlington, Washington is like, but this does make me a little nervous. We've got those pentacles again. The I'm going to go out and I'm doing something that's like good for me. And then there's got to be a Burger King around there. There has to be. Not even is there a water boardwalk, maybe something they can go on. Is there a Burger King around there? Because I've got Burger King coming through this whole reading. Are there Burger Kings in Washington? If it's not Burger King, it's something like that. The whole King Crown thing. Just going to ask for one more card representing what? Representing Jonathan Hoang today. A card representing Jonathan Hoang today. Card representing Jonathan Hoang today. Well, this is a high priestess. High priestess is kind of hidden, secretive. There is sort of a watery kind of theme down here. She's not easy to find, not easy to figure out. And there's that cross, which is calling to me because it was here as well. That whole cross thing. There's a cross there and a cross there. So are there nuns or something that care for people around there, that feed people around there, maybe feed the homeless? If so, you might want to look around there, something to do with them. It just feels like there's, I have a really weird feeling about this one. An odd feeling about this one. Just going to ask, what is this odd feeling I have? What is this about Jonathan? What is this odd feeling about Jonathan? Yeah, so here again, it's almost like, these people are struggling. Got some pentacles in the window. That a lot of people say this is like a church, and these people are struggling outside of it. They don't have much, and they're not doing well. They're around help. Help is around there. They're still like outside, not doing well. So we got to figure that whole thing out because now we've got like a lady who represents a church kind of theme, the high priestess. And we've got Jonathan potentially outside of this church, and maybe these people are helping. Is there some kind of nunnery or something? I don't know. Something of that nature around there where they feed the homeless. You might want to go places like that. And then there's the Burger King theme. Something to do with Burger King here. All right, so that is what I got for Jonathan. Potentially water. I hate to say it, but potentially water because we got water a few times, which made me a little nervous, but I'm hoping it's just like he's hanging around a place where there's water. That would be ideal. All right, that's what I got. I wish I had more, but hopefully some of that stuff that came through of like where he is and the closest known landmarks and stuff will trigger something in somebody. I don't know the area, so I don't know what that stands for. All right, take care, people. Bye-bye.